Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the North East Non-League Show, sponsored by DJ Private Hire, Gateway Accountancy Services Limited, Elite Goalkeeping Academy, Motivate, Danny Leigh, Plumbing and Heating, the Football Pink, and Sport and Journey North East Limited. Getting longer every day. That list, but thank you very much, everyone, for sponsoring the show. We do appreciate it. And tonight we have our episode 105, the National League North mid-season review. And tonight we have Desi, Matthew, and Darren on the show. Lads, thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Yep. Good evening, lads.
Like I say, it's another great show expected. And like I say, before I came on the show, I always talk about looking at the results from all the North East leagues that we have. But kind of looking at the league tables, I might do that towards the end of the season. But looking at the moment, and we've got the three teams on, sitting 11th, 12th, and 13th at the moment, which is a crazy thing in itself. But starting with obviously 13th, Darlow Matty sitting 13th at the moment, 26 points. Going quite well at the moment. Obviously, Watson up for Manager of the Month award now. I think he's winning at the moment in the group. Lambert's signed as well. Goals expected there. How's it all going at Darlow?
Yeah, it's been a bit of a mixed bag to start the season, to say the least. We've gone through little patches here and there of putting a few results together, but largely it's been frustrating. We know there's an extra gear to go up. Goals have been really hard to come by all season. Early in the season, second game of the season, Cedric Main, he did his hamstring at Oxford away, and obviously that took away our main creative outlet up front. So yeah, you could be excused for us not scoring as many goals as expected over the coming months, but even then, since he's come back into the fold, we've still struggled to find our feet, and yeah, we've just really struggled to find the back of the net. Our defensive record, however, has been pretty good so far. We went on that run where we had 6 clean sheets in a row in all competitions, and yeah, that back four's looking as solid as it ever has now, and Lees and Forbes are forming a really good partnership at the back there, and that's what they always say in football. If you can't win games, you've got to find a way not to get beat, and that's certainly what we've been doing so far, and I'm not concerned at all at the minute. I think we're ticking along nicely, and if we can keep up with the pack, and you just need to put a little bit of a run together in this league, and all of a sudden you're right in the mix for the playoffs, and until then it's all about just staying with the pack, just collecting those points here and there, collecting the point away from home, 3 points at home. That's fine, that'll do us no bother, and yeah, we've managed our way through the injury crisis well. We've recruited well throughout the season, but yeah, I'm feeling more positive than I am negative at the minute. But yeah, there's still definitely another gear we can go up for sure.
Yeah, I think we spoke on the show a couple of months ago that we had the show about the National League North, and we kind of expected. I think a lot of us picked Darlow up as being one of the teams that might have a good season and start well, but they didn't. I know. I think we said as well. We expected a good start after how they ended last season. Was that the same from yourself as a fan?
Yeah, you always expect to carry a bit of momentum in from the season before, especially with there being a real feel-good factor about the club at the back end of last season. But again, I think a feel-good factor only carries you so far. I think there's some underlying issues at the club that were greatly exposed last season, should we say? And I feel like because we ended up staying up, I feel like a lot of those issues were failed to be addressed. And yeah, I feel like that comes from high up. I feel like there's a real attempt to sweep that under the carpet, and the average fan that just they have a season ticket, they go to a few away games this season, they're not going to question too much about that. But yeah, when you see some of the behind the scenes stuff at the club, it can be a little bit concerning as to whether lessons have actually been learnt that got us into the position that we were last season. And yeah, luckily we've got Watson at the helm now, who's a really good football man. He knows the level really well, and he can be trusted to delegate responsibilities to him in terms of the whole playing side of the club. And I feel like that was a big downfall with Gowling. Obviously, not to go too much back into him, but I feel like having that experience there with Watson now, it's safe to delegate those responsibilities to him, because to be honest, there's not many football men higher up on the board at the club, and when you don't have that experience in the dugout, you can lose your way a bit. You can lose a bit of that expertise, and yeah, I feel like we're in a fortunate position now. However, that's not to say we should rest on what we've got. I feel like we need to keep on kicking on, and yeah, it feels a lot like a club going nowhere this season, and yeah, I think that reality is starting to sink in. That in terms of a long-term project, we are where we are, and there's not many ways out until we can start progressing off the pitch. So yeah, it can be frustrating from a fan's point of view. But in terms of what Watson's got to work with, we think he's doing really well at the club at the minute. And yeah, all of his recruitment in the summer's been really good. And yeah, I mean, we had a bit of an injury crisis at the start of the season, and you can be excused for one or two results that go there. But again, he's made us really hard to beat, really solid. And yeah, we've been picking up results steadily, and you would hope now that at some point we're going to kick on.
No, good platform to build. And another side as well, Desi Spennymoor, sitting 12th at the moment on 27 points. Lee doing a good job there. And I mean, what's your thoughts on Spenny so far this season?
I think we're doing all right, to be honest. I think we had a bit of a rebuild to do in the summer when the likes of Danny Greenfield, Levy and Becker left. We've brought a lot of new players in. And what's killed us most of the season is our injuries have been ridiculous. I don't think there's been a single player who hasn't missed a game with injury. I mean, Glenn Taylor's been out nearly all season. As you know, he's one of the best strikers in our league for the last 5 or 6 years. And when you lose these goals, it's difficult. The likes of Isaac Fletcher's been outstanding for us, probably been our best player so far. And we've just signed a couple of decent players on loan, Tom Allen, Finn Shrimpton, and we've got Aidan Rutledge in. So I think we're getting there now. I think Glenn Taylor's back, so I think we'll start seeing our results pick up a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned them players there, and Rutledge as well. It's goals, not guaranteed, but you expect to score a couple of games with them strikers on the books, don't you?
That's, I mean, at the minute, I think we've got the best squad we've probably had for quite a while. Now everyone's starting to get fit and what have you. Our home record was superb. Then all of a sudden it's tailed off a little bit. But I think we'll do all right. I still think we'll make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think before the start of the season, I think we chatted about, he said the playoffs will be a good year. And we're going to talk about the league very shortly, but it's really open. Just need them few little wins in a row to push on, don't it, at this stage, how does he?
Yeah, like Matty said, the league's so tight at the moment. You win a few, you're in the playoffs. You lose a few, you're in the bottom half. It's crazy. Everybody can beat everybody on the day. I mean, we beat Scunthorpe at home again the other week. Outstanding performance. And then earlier in the season, you go to the likes of Rushall and Leamington. And we managed to lose every time we go there. But I'm confident now. I think things are on the up anyway.
Yeah, and another team on the up as well, Darren. South Shields, 11th at the moment. I know I was talking to my mate a few weeks ago and he was looking over his shoulder, but now he's looking towards the playoffs at work. Yesterday, 29 points, sitting 11th. It's looking a lot better now, isn't it?
Oh, it is, yeah. Well, to be fair, we've had a very, very good November. We've won four out of the 6 games in the month. Beat some good wins as well against the win down Alfred last Tuesday. It was probably the best of the bunch. I mean, that was a terrific performance. That was. I mean, some of the goals we scored that night were absolutely top draw. But it's what Elliot Dickman's deserved in a way, because he's had rotten luck since the season's began. I mean, his main signing of the summer, Dan Ward, he lost him in the first 2 weeks. Wait a minute. Am I back?
You're back.
Am I back? Oh, wait a minute. All right. Oh, thank God. It shields all over the places. Its connection is always spotty here. Anyway, yeah, we lost Dan Ward 2 weeks into the season to a groin injury. He's thankfully back on the mend. Hopefully, he should be back just after Christmas. Jenkins has been out injured and all that. We've used 4 different fullbacks. I mean, we have made good use of the loan market as well. I mean, the guy who got in from Leeds, a kid called Joe Richards at fullback. He's just been called back to Leeds within a month. I mean, like, he's been too good for us. Like, saying we want him back right now. But going back to us. But it's Dickman's. We're happy with Dickman at the moment. I mean, yes, 11th place is not at some fans' expectations, but given the changes over the summer and all that, we're actually quite happy where we are at the moment.
Yeah, like you say, I think it's all about them expectations. I know the free fans, that's all on the sides of the success that you've had, kind of. But you kind of look at Shields, obviously the promotions, and like you say, a lot of fans get carried away with that. They've got to kind of realise you hit a certain level, and that's the next part you've got to build from there, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we there had to be a point where you have to like put the brakes on the investment and all that, and just try and be a bit more sensible. You can't. The National League North is not a league you can just throw a load of money in and just be up there every season, because if it goes wrong, it'll mean, look at the likes of Bradford Park Avenue, who've had a double relegation. The likes of Histon, who are down in in the 50 in step 5 now or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you get it wrong at this level, and you could be like a Farsi and could be threatened to go down.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Not just down one, you could plummet back down the pyramid quicker in the flash.
Oh, that's it. I mean, one player that we've got to mention, Darren, I know I spoke to you at the Heaven game. Obviously, Debola comes in, and I think you kind of touched on it. He's one of those where you've just got to enjoy him while he's still there. I think, obviously, the performances, I know my friend said he's been playing absolutely brilliant, but it's just like you say, a pleasure to have a good player like on the books now, isn't it?
He's been terrific. He's been absolutely terrific. He has he's just added so much to our midfield since Jenkins' injury. He's become like he's a mainstay. He's only been here a month, but he's already pretty much the first choice midfielder. I mean, he's been partnered so far with Ashton Mee, but he's not the sort of person that I think he works best with. I want to see how he does with Jenks when he comes back from injury, and if that works out, then we could have a really good, strong midfield going forward, as long as we keep him. But I don't think we'll keep the ball beyond, if not from sorry. At best, if we can keep the ball to the end of the season, we'll have done really, really well. He is definitely, though, a League Two player at the very least. From what I've seen of him, he is that good.
Yeah, heard some really good stuff. But a nice calm opening, lads, from all three. I was expecting a bit of heat between you. Felt like you see some massive games coming up between you over the next 3 weeks. So we'll get on to it very shortly. But starting with up the top of the league, and I mean, it's when you're looking at the league table, obviously it's so open, and you look over from the top 10 from Curzon Ashton sitting at the top of the league down at Alfred in 10th. It's a 6-point swing, and it just proves, like you say, a couple of defeats. You're kind of not even out the top 1 or 2. You could be out the playoffs. Teams coming in, but you look at some of them sides in there. Obviously, Alfred, Ashton, Chorley, Scunthorpe, Kidderminster, Kings Lynn, and a few other sides in there as well. Hereford, Chester, Brackley as well. Any of the teams? I mean, open discussion now. Any of the teams that you've played, obviously, so far this season, you've thought, wow, they're unstoppable. Like,
I wouldn't say. I'll go for Curzon Ashton. Sorry, Matty. I'll go for Curzon Ashton. I don't think they're unstoppable, but I think they play football the right way. And they've always been a good footballing side, and they surprised a lot of people. But the way they play football, I think they'll be right up there come the end of the season again.
I disagree on that part. I mean, when Curzon Ashton came to us at the early part of the season, they showed the ugly side of the game, and they did that really, really well. I mean, we couldn't deal with it. I mean, we got the equaliser at the end, but they got the penalty straight away. But yeah, they can play ugly when they want to.
Yeah.
See, if we're going to go ugly, then I'd go for Alfred all day long. It's just kicking along, and I don't know how people can watch Alfred every week. I really don't. The football's awful.
I think for us, it's Arlo, the best team I've seen us play this season. Maybe to the surprise of 1 or 2 would be Buxton at their place. I thought they were absolutely excellent. They beat us 2-0 at their place on a Tuesday night, and yeah, it really didn't feel like a 2-0 game. You felt like you were going into injury time and thinking, can nick a goal back, you're still in the game here. But no, it really felt like a convincing 5-0 defeat. And yeah, they move the ball really well, and they don't have any standout players in particular, but they're really well drilled, and their home record this season's been excellent. I mean, we played them in the trophy at our place a couple of weeks ago, and first half they battled well, second half we got the better of them. They were nothing special, but they make Silverland's a real fortress, and yeah, I came away from that game, at the away game, and said it wouldn't surprise me if they did a Tamworth this season. I thought they were I thought they had all sides of the games nailed down really well in terms of the ugly side and moving the ball really well, playing possession-based football and having a bit of that pacing behind to cause us real problems. But again, you look at some of the sides you'd expect to be up there. We played Scunthorpe the other week. We drew 0-0 at home with them. To be honest, if that's any other keeper in goal other than Fitzsimmons, we'd probably win that game comfortably. But yeah, they were, again, they're another team with a really good defensive record, but you look to their striker options. They've got Beck now. You're playing him with Whitehall. They've got Beeson. Will Harris has just gone there as well. There doesn't seem to be a clear identity about them in a clear direction. It kind of seems to be a lot of shove a lot of attacking options up there and hope that something sticks. And all of them are good players in their own right, but they have to have that person to play alongside them. So that person making the runs, that person getting in behind, because they're all very similar sorts of players. And yeah, I was really unimpressed with the way Scunthorpe played last night. But then again, they've got that firepower in the side and they've got that sheer quality, so that'll be enough to get them through most of the games, I'd suspect.
Yeah, they've got the ability to.
Strong sides, isn't it? Sorry, Don. Yeah.
You say they've got the ability, but they do seem to be trying to buy their way out of trouble.
Yeah, it feels a lot like that as well with the Will Harris signing. It feels like just a lot of throw money at the problem and hope that something sticks.
To me, it's a panic. It's a panic buy.
Yeah,
I see it's
as
a panic
well with
buy.
Mark Beck, because again he came here the other week and he looked a few stone heavier than he was when he played for us. It was like watching a scarecrow up front a little bit, and I was really unimpressed with Scunthorpe. But then again, you look at other sides that are up there, the usual culprits. Curzon Ashton again. We drew 0-0 there earlier in the season. It was a pretty nothing game, nothing to write home about, but the term side's a really good pitch for playing good football, and they do that really well, and they're really solid defensively. And Charlie are another one. We went there on a Tuesday night this season. They blew us away 4-0. Could have been more if it weren't for Pete Jameson. They're always there or thereabouts. No surprises there. Kidderminster are a side that looked really good early in the season when we played them, but they seem to have dropped off a little bit. Kings Lynn, we know the way Lakeland likes to play football. It's not the most attractive brand of football ever, but it'll get you results, and with the right players in there, it'll be effective. And then obviously sneaking in that last playoff place at the minute, Chester, we know they could take off at any given moment, because to me, they have got the best squad in the league on paper all around. They've got the most well-rounded squad in the league, and yeah, I know a lot of people will disagree, but I think Carl McIntyre's holding them back a little bit at the minute, and I feel like with the right man in the dugout, they could be there or thereabouts, and they still could be, because it's that tight at the top of the table.
Yeah, see, we played Chester first game of the season and absolutely battered them 3-0, and I thought they were very poor. Luckily, it was first game, so obviously they've got better since then. But I still think Kidderminster, Scunthorpe, with the money they've got, like you said, they can just buy anybody they want realistically. So I think them are the two teams that are going to be right up there, aren't they?
Yeah, I think, like you say, you mentioned bringing in players, and I think at this level you've got to be really careful. I think a lot of clubs or managers go to buy players on names rather than kind of the performance or what they're doing at the moment. And like Matty just mentioned there, you might get Mark Betton, who might be 2 or 3 stone overweight compared to what he used to be like, but you just go out and buying it on the name, expecting to do something in the past. You've got to be really careful of the money at this level now, don't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I gotta say that's the thing as well, because you never quite know with Scunthorpe as well, because obviously they had the takeover midway through last season, and I think 1 or 2 people expected that they might cut down a little bit on the budget in the summer, because we don't quite know what sort of money these new investors are coming in with, or whether it was more of a bid to save the club. So yeah, I expected some downsizing from Scunthorpe in the summer, and they didn't go out and splash the cash, but they still maintained the core of the squad. And I mean, I know a lot of them will have been on 2-year contracts, and it's easier said than done offloading some of these players, and fans are very expectant, and they're still getting the attendance through the gates. But yeah, I feel like that's where we're very privileged with a manager like Watson. I feel like Butler, again, he's quite new to management. He doesn't know the level very well, and I feel like Watson, he's a lot more patient than that, and he's got a real eye in the transfer market, and he knows the level really well. And I feel like if Scunthorpe maybe even had a manager like Watson, they'd be running away with the league by now.
Yeah, like you say, just behind them, we've obviously got all 3 sides up there, and hopefully by next time we chat, we'll all be in the playoffs. Fingers crossed, playing each other by the end of the season. But just behind them, obviously 11 to 13 places, we've got the mid-table pack. We're on about how open it is, and you go from literally 14th down to 20th, the 6-point swing as well. And you just mentioned, like Desi touched on before, you could be having 3 wins. You think, right, how far are we off the playoffs now? With 3 defeats, you could be looking over your shoulder relegation. Would you say it's one of the tightest years that we've seen this season?
Yeah, I think it's probably one of the closest open leagues we've ever had, to be honest. I mean, if you look down there, Radcliffe, a couple of wins what they've had recently, they started to pull away. I know they had a bad result Saturday. All right for some, but yeah, I think Radcliffe will get out of it. I mean, I'm surprised Oxford are down there because they've just come down, haven't they? So I thought they would have been a bit better, but it's so tight. It's just mad. Anybody can beat anybody.
Yeah. It could be like last season as well, because like as you know, Desi, we both got 74 points last season, and any normal season that would easily get you in the playoffs, and we both still missed out, which was mental.
I mean,
it could be that again. It is going that way again.
Even for us to stay up, it was a much higher points tally needed than the previous few seasons. I mean, we'd have been safe by late March, even maybe if we'd been up against what we've been against in seasons gone by. But yeah, the standard's getting better and better each year. I mean, Rush are the bottom of the league now, but we went there earlier in the season and we drew 1-1, and they didn't look like a side that belonged at the bottom of the league. Granted, they didn't look out special, but yeah, you wouldn't be able to tell that they were a side lurking around the bottom. Again, what I will say about Radcliffe is, I know we won 4-1 there on Saturday. I thought they were extremely poor, to be honest. And again, they were a side that had to finish a comfortable mid-table in my pre-season predictions. They've got Jonathan Byrne in the dugout who know the level really, really well. A squad that's good on paper. Jordan Hume, a talisman for this level. Yeah, I think they've got a good mix of experience and some of that youth coming through, some of that raw talent. But yeah, I was pretty taken aback on Saturday by how poor they were. And although we scored some good goals, some really, really good strikes, I don't really feel like they laid the glove on us after about the 20-minute mark. So I would be really, really concerned for them going forward. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's it.
I will give a shout out as well. I'll give a shout out as well to the team we drew with at the weekend, Peterborough Sports. They are a very big dark horse always. I mean, they came to us. I mean, yes, we went with a 2-0 lead, but they continued playing a very high press, putting us under pressure and all that. And I admire any team that does that. Anyone that comes to Shields and has a go and all that. We'll always applaud that, and they did. They really earned their 2-2 draw that on Saturday. And I spoke to a couple of the Peterborough fans as we left the ground and all that. And I asked them, "How the hell are you down in 15th place? With the way you play, you should be in the playoff picture and all that." And he said, we had injuries and suspensions, and they lost one of their best players to Spalding a couple of months ago. Yeah, they're just trying to move on. I mean, they're just trying to move on a bit. I mean, the one I was impressed with them was the guy Matthew will know, a guy called Kane Felix.
Yes.
He was an absolute monster on Saturday, and he definitely looks like the sort of player Dartmouth could have done with keeping.
Yeah, well, he was the first one out the door when Gowling came along, and to be fair, there was sort of logic behind that reason in terms of the commuting distance. But yeah, he's another one that we never quite saw the full potential of, but he's a player that we could be crying out for at the minute. He's got that raw pace to get him behind. I know he's been playing a lot through the middle for Peterborough this season. He played out wide when he came.
They played him as a centre forward on Saturday.
A few weeks ago. Yeah, he played out wide again when he came to our place a few weeks ago. They drew 2-2, and it was a very, very long 45 minutes for Joel Easley at fullback. It was yeah, he got hooked at half time, and that was the last time he wore a Vitalo shirt. He's been shipped out on the now. But yeah, I mean, with pace like that, you're going to cause any defender in the league a bit of a problem. And I know you can say about his end product, but at the end of the day, with that sort of raw pace and that raw ability, if you had an end product, you wouldn't be playing National League nor football. So
yeah, you play at this level for a reason.
Yeah, I think some people forget that sometimes when they get frustrated with particularly the attacking players in this league, that if they had the whole if they were the full package, they would not be playing at this level. And I think Felix is a perfect example of a player you get really, really frustrated with, but when you take a little bit of a step back, you realise how much of a utility he can be to, well, any side in this league.
Yeah.
Definitely. And we've just been touching on this very slightly there with the relegation zone, Radcliffe, Marine, Needham, Rushall, all down there at the moment. Can you see, I mean, we just touched on Radcliffe there, but any other teams that you're expecting maybe push on, do you think it could be between them for the relegation zone?
Farsley.
Yeah.
Farsley.
Yes, I think they'll slip. They're slipping, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, they came to us a week ago on Saturday, and it was the easiest 5-1 win I've ever seen. I mean, it could have been 10, 11, 12. I mean, Farsley were that far gone. I mean, it just shows the problems for them are more than just off the pitches on it as well. I mean,
exactly.
they had a very young team, an inexperienced manager. They're not in a good place, and I feel for their fans and all that. But they look like cast iron certainties to go down this year.
We played them on a Friday night down at Bradford, and we absolutely tore them apart. I mean, we were superb, but they looked like you said, they looked so far gone. It's just crazy. And since then, they've lost a couple of players as well. So I just don't see any coming back for them now.
Yeah. Funny, they still managed to beat Bamber Bridge in the trophy, which is strange.
Yeah. I mean, Bamber Bridge are another club who are struggling for money a bit at the minute. I know they set up a GoFundMe raise, a quick 30k a few weeks back. But back to Farsley, we played them. That was their first game, home game at Buxton. And an interesting sort of atmosphere to say the least. I reckon there was a crowd of about 150 there, if we're being generous. And that was way more Darlow than there was Farsley. It's a strange predicament for them at the minute. And again, even since then, they've lost key players out of the change room. I heard Ben Atkinson didn't play that day because he refused to travel to Buxton. Tom Allen, he's a big voice in the change room, and he's now gone. We were a little bit linked with him a few weeks back. I'm not sure where that's headed, but it's going to get more inexperienced over the course of the season, and people are going to get slowly fed up. And you've got to really feel for them at the minute, because we saw the chairman as well at that game, and obviously we didn't know it was the chairman at that time, but there was a certain type of arrogance as he strolled around the barrier at 2-0 down with a big fat cigar in his mouth. So it doesn't feel like a situation that they're getting out of anytime soon, and I'd be very surprised if they manage to avoid the drop by the end of the season, or even if they see the season out.
It's horrible to season, like you say. Then you end up getting the young ones just chucked on the pitch and they're taking the double figure batterings. It's not good for anybody, isn't it? You just see it, the C clubs do, but like you say, you've got to spend the money wisely at any level of the game now. And like you say, hats off to Farsley to keep going, but I think it will get worse as the season goes on as well. Just got to touch on obviously the festive period, like you say, a lot of local derbies coming up. Looking forward to it, lads.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, 100%.
Got the boxing gloves out ready there.
I gotta say we've got a few long distance ones though as well over the festive period. We've got Needham Market away on the 21st of December. So
we go to Oxford that day as well. So
get some shopping in.
I mean, you'll be all right. Use a 3G pitch at Oxford.
At least it's not going to get called up for the weather, is it?
I'm a little bit concerned as to whether I might end up going to Needham Market on a Tuesday night in February. But it's nice to get the local ones in as well. We've got Scarborough home on Boxing Day, and that's always a close affair, no matter how badly or well the both teams are doing. And obviously we go to Shields on New Year's Day, and usually by then it's battle of the fittest after a busy festive period. But I know we won there pretty comfortably last season, but you'd always be happy with a draw going to a place like Shields.
Yeah. Hope we can keep 11 players on the pitch this time. Fixtures for us over festive period we've actually been it's been generous to us. I mean, 21st we've got Marine at home, then Boxing Day we're at Spennymoor, then Darton at home on Boxing Day, and then on the 4th we've got another home game, but we've got Hereford. So actually it has been pretty generous, the fixture computer this time around.
Yeah, so like you say, hopefully a lot of goals and lots of things to talk about on our next show as well. But finally, just want to go around again, lad, and just talking about obviously the predictions for the rest of the season. Coming to your first down South Shields, where do you kind of see them come the end of the season now?
In my season preview, I said 12th, and I don't really think I should want to even deviate from that. To be fair, I mean, like I said, it's been a summer of change. We've lost nearly all of our high earners to be pretty much, and Dickman is building a good, more younger team. Some will say it's a cheaper team, but I say it's a leaner team to try and make the club run more in a more sustainable manner.
Yeah.
Like say, go away from the reckless spend in the past. I mean, I was at back in August. The chairman Jeff Thompson had a supporters meeting where he went over the financial state of the club and all that.
Mhm.
And he did reveal some numbers regarding the budget that Kevin Phillips had to win the NPL league title. And I don't know the exact figure, but over $1 million was mentioned. Over $1 million was mentioned that he spent.
Wow.
The budget for this season is somewhere in the region of about 750k, and from what I've heard, Dickman has not even spent anywhere near that yet. So, considering that, he's actually doing, I think, a really, very good job, to be fair. And especially given his connections, getting some really cracking
he was
players in the
nice,
loan
isn't he?
market, the likes of Joe Richards, the likes of Jita Kiki. Both of them got called back to their clubs pretty quickly. We've got one now called Anton Dudek from Carlisle. We've not seen the best of him yet, but we've seen flashes. And also he's got, like you say, he's used his connections of Newcastle to get Lucas de Ball, and some to get Jamie Bramwell from Gateshead. We're in a good position to build, not for this season, probably not good enough to properly challenge for promotion this season, but maybe in the next, give it about a couple of years or something like that, with a bit more experience, we should be all right to be a bit more competitive at the top.
Yep. Yourself, Matthew, at Dartnext, where do you see yourself at the end of the season?
Yeah, well, either me or Darren is going to be wrong because I'm going to put us in 12 too. I think we absolutely.
In fact, I'm going to write these down. I'm going to come back at the end of the season, so I'm going 12 and 12 so far.
Yeah. Yeah. Again,
is this going to be our hex, the number 12 or something?
Yeah, I don't see us deviating too far from that this season, to be honest. Again, I feel like there's no real spanners to be thrown in the works. I'm fully expecting a little run of form, maybe around February, March time, and we tend to do it every season. Really, we have that little bit of a run of form that just maybe comes a little bit too early for us to see it out till the end of the season, and everyone gets a little bit overexcited and a little bit carried away with themselves, and we maybe sneak in those playoff places in about early March time, and then we drop like a stone after one bad result. And I can see the exact same thing happening again this season. I feel like we've got the solid base of a squad to go and kick on a little bit, but I feel like there's too many good teams around that top end of the league that will continue to strengthen throughout the season as well. I think that's been the key. Again, Dan was talking numbers around 700 this season for Shields. You're probably looking around the 300-400 mark for us this season. So again, to be competing around the playoff places, that's a tall order for us as a club. And I think in terms of kicking around the higher end of the league in the coming years, I think people are going to have to be very, very patient with that, because until we see some sort of fundamental change in the boardroom, because I don't feel like our lack of facilities or lack of assets is. Obviously, that's what's holding us back from going that extra gear further in terms of the National League and the Football League. But I think this club could go so much further just by adding that little bit of experience in the boardroom. And until we get that, and until fans start pressing for that, I don't see anything changing at the club anytime soon. So 12 is where I'm going to stick with. Yeah.
And yourself, Desi, Spennymoor?
Well, I'm going to be a little bit more optimistic. I'm going to say with a bit of luck, and if we keep everybody fit, our biggest players, the likes of Taylor, we manage to keep hold of Isaac Fletcher and whatever. I think we'll sneak the last playoff place. I'm pretty confident, because generally we do better after Christmas. We always seem to start poorly. Then if you look at our record over the last few years, we always do better after Christmas time. If you look at last year, I think we went. So we're like 12 wins in a row out of 12 out of 13 wins. And we just fell short at the end when we lost at Shields, which sort of killed our playoff hopes the last couple of weeks. But I think I think we'll be pretty close to the playoffs again, similar to last season, I would say.
Yeah, like I said, and thank you so much, lads, for coming on the show. It's a funny one because I keep laughing because I've got a comment on the side there, Mary at the start. Anyone else watching in the bath? And I keep seeing that call me every time. So I hope you enjoyed your bath and hope you enjoyed this show. But lads, again, thank you so much for coming on. I hope we do cut at the end of the season a couple more playoff chats as well. But thank you so much for coming on the show. I hope you really enjoy, obviously, your games over the winter. I hope you all have a great Christmas as well.
Cheers.
Thanks. All the best.
Yeah.
Excellent. And we're back again tomorrow night for our final show of the year as well, for our Northern Prem and Division East review as well. So stay tuned for that at 10 past night tomorrow night. But again, thank you everyone so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your night as well.